Okay, so these notes are going to be continuing with, again, slope-intercept form. This time we're going to be given just 2 points. So last time we were given a point and a slope. This time we have 2 points. So the first step is going to be to find the slope using the slope formula. So we learned our slope formula the other day, or how to use it. So just a reminder, the slope formula is, I'm going to write this on my paper here, is going to be m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. All right, so looking at my first example here, I'm going to find my slope first. So I'm going to label these as x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. All right, and then I'm going to plug them in to my formula. So remember, I write m equals, I always draw my fraction bar, and then I put my minus signs before I start. All right, now we're going to plug our numbers in. So my y2, for my formula, I start with y2. So my y2 is -4 minus y1 is 16 divided by x2 is 7 minus x1 is -3. So make sure you put that negative there also. All right, and then we're going to simplify this. So -4 minus 16 is going to be -20. Those are both negative, so the same signs, you add them and keep the sign. 7 minus -3 minus a negative back to back, those become plus, so that's going to be 10. And -20 divided by 10 is just -2. So the slope of our line is -2. So I have an m. Now the only other piece that I need is a b. So now it goes back to those same steps that we were looking at on the previous examples where we had a slope and a point. Except now we have 2 points. So it says plug in the slope m and 1 point, x and y, to y equals mx plus b. So we get to choose, do we want to use this first point, -316, or do we want to use this second point? So a couple of reasons why I would pick 1 point over the other. If I have a point that has all positives, I'm going to pick that. This time I have a -x here and a -y here, so that's not really a luxury I have right now. So second thing I would look at is the numbers, and can I multiply with them, add and subtract with them. So 16 is a pretty big number that I'm not really familiar with when I'm multiplying, so I probably would choose this point just because these are numbers I would rather work with than 16. It doesn't matter though. If I chose this point or this point, I should get the same y-intercept. So as long as you do it right, you should get the same y-intercept. All right, so I'm going to plug in to y equals mx plus b. I'm plugging in the m that I got over here, -2, and I'm choosing this coordinate right here. I'm going to choose that x and y. So my y is going to be -4 equals m we got was -2 times x is going to be 7, right? Our x here is 7 plus b. All right, and now we just solve for b. So remember, when we're solving, we first simplify. On this side, we have parentheses, so we're going to multiply -2 times 7. That's going to be -14 plus b. Bring down my equal sign and bring down -4. So now I'm trying to get b by itself. So I just need to add 14 to get it to the other side. So add 14. So these cancel. I'm left with b, that's what I wanted, equals, over here, -4 plus 14 is 10. So b equals 10. So I'm almost done. The only thing I have left to do is to put it into slope-intercept form. So in slope-intercept form, y equals m is -2x plus b plus 10. So that is my equation in slope-intercept form. I'm going to suggest that you always then graph this and just check, does it actually go through this point and this point? If it doesn't go through both of those points, you did something wrong. Okay, so I'm going to go to my graph and I'm going to graph y equals, remember f of x and y are the same thing, -2x plus 10. Enter. So there it is. So I could go to the table. I can also trace. I think trace is a little bit faster. So menu, trace, graph trace. I'm going to trace first to -3. So I'm going to go back to my calculator, -3. I just type it, and when I push enter, it goes there. So there it is, -316, the exact same point that they had given me on my paper. And then I'm going to trace to 7, so I can just start typing again. So I'm just going to put 7, enter. There it is, 7, -4. So this line goes through both of the points that they told me it should. All right, we're going to go ahead and fill in our little graph page to the side with this example. So -2x plus 10 is our graph. So I'm going to go over here, or my equation, sorry, not my graph. Y equals -2x plus 10 is my equation. All right, and I'm going to fill in this information that I already know. So I already know my slope was -2. My y-intercept that we solved for, remember our y-intercept was the b that we solved for right here, was 10. So that point would be 0, 10. If you wanted to trace to it, again, when you do menu 5-1, the very first point that normally comes up is the y-intercept. I moved off of it. Probably shouldn't have done that so quickly, but if I go back, there it is. My y-intercept is 0, 10. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my x-intercept while I'm here. So my x-intercept, remember, we also call a 0. So it's 5, 0. So if I scroll off of it and come back, 5, 0, that yellow box pops up. There we go. So my x-intercept, or 0, is 5, 0. So 5, 0. Again, I'm going to write the word 0 there just to remind you that an x-intercept and a 0 are the same thing. Our y-intercept was 0, 10. All right, and so we're going to put some of those points on the graph and then draw it. So we're going to put 5, 0 is our x-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 right there. 0, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I'm going to put 0, 10 in my table. If I just get a couple more, I can do this by tracing. So I could go to 1, for example, 1, 8. That would be a good one. Okay, I can go to 2, 6. I can go to 3, 4. Remember, my slope also can help me with this. So my slope was -2. So down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. So this point right here is going to be a coordinate also. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 4, 2 would be another coordinate. And then we have 5, 0. And then we could keep going down 2, right 1. So that would be 6, -2. So if I just confirm that, 6, -2. All right, and that's probably enough. So let's graph our line with those coordinates. All right, so not a great line, but there it is. All right. So some of you might even want to start labeling your x-intercept. Remember, this is the 0. The y-intercept was up here at 0, 10. All right, so hopefully you got that. Let's go back to our practice over here. So same thing, we are finding the equation from 2 points. So all right, I go back to my steps. First step is to find the slope using the slope formula. So we're going to find the slope using the slope formula. So I'm going to first label these x1, y1, x2, y2. My slope formula is m equals, I'm going to draw my fraction bar and put my subtract signs. All right, and now I'm plugging in my numbers. So my y2 goes first, so y2 is 7. Minus y1 is 5, divided by x2 is -6, minus x1 is -2. So just a reminder, make sure that you put that negative, even though you already have a minus. All right, now we're going to simplify. So 7 minus 5 is 2. -6 minus -2. These two double negatives right there become a positive. So I'm going to go ahead and change those. So that's -6 plus 2 is -4. And then this will simplify to -1/2. So our slope is -1/2. Okay. So over here, m equals -1/2. The next thing that I need is b. So to find b, if I go back to my steps, this is just like what we did the other day. We plug in m, we plug in the m that we got, and we choose one point. So I have to pick one of these points. Just like the last one, I have a negative and a positive and a negative and a positive, so I don't think either of them is better for that. So then you have to decide, do you just want to work with 2 and 5 or 6 and 7? I probably would choose 2 and 5. I think those are a little bit easier to work with. So this is the point I'm going to choose. So in y equals mx plus b, I'm going to plug in the y from the coordinate. So my coordinate has a 5 for y, equals m we got was -1/2, times our x from our coordinate is -2, plus b. And now we solve for b. So I multiply, so this is -1/2 times -2. So the way I read that is half of 2. A negative times a negative is going to be a positive, and half of 2 is just 1. So this is going to be 1 equals, on the other side 5, we still have plus b. All right, I'm solving for b, so I'm just going to subtract this 1 to get it to the other side. 5 minus 1 is 4, so b equals 4. So in slope-intercept form, my equation is y equals -1/2 x plus 4. And I should be able to do the same thing with this one that I did with the other one. I should be able to graph it and then fill in all of this information over here for that.